We're live. This is the Youth School for Business?
Yep.
Or the Youth Business for School.
Something like that.
However you want to say it, it's okay with me. This is a video series where we're teaching youngsters, young folk. What do young people call themselves these days? Generation...
The squad.
What generation are we in now?
Z.
Generation Z?
I think.
Huh.
Or did it just close? I don't know.
I don't know. We haven't...
Well, it's 2020. There's got to be a new one.
The
by
truth
now.
is that I think it takes maybe like 10 to 15 years for each generation to go by. So it's not like generations go by super fast. It takes
What do you
a while.
mean go by
like a new generation, or like a new generation, they don't start talking about about a new generation until like 15 years has gone by.
Well, there's got to be a new one by now.
Yeah, there must be. I don't know what they're called.
There has to be.
They suck anyways, dude. If you're Generation Z and you're watching this, you're all right.
I'm Generation Z.
Oh, so the people watching
the
this?
next one, like Generation Double.
Nah, but there could be people who are like 5 years younger than you that are in your same generation. Generations don't last 5 years. Generations
well, actually, I was like the first of Gen Z. So
there you go.
Like 15 years
there you go, man. So these are we're talking to your Gen Z counterparts here. So we're cool. Gen Z, if you're a Gen Z person, you're cool. If you're younger than that, I don't know. This might not be the video training program for you. If you're older than Gen Z, also thumbs down. This is Gen Z only training. It's just alienating everybody else who might be watching this video. Actually, you know what? Forget it. You're all good. Any young people, you're all good. So today we're going to be talking about selling. I went back and listened to the other videos that we did last week about equity. Those were pretty good. If you haven't watched the videos on financing yet, you probably have, because I would imagine they're in order. Go back and watch those videos on financing. I thought they were actually pretty cool. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Yeah, I listened to a couple.
Those were not bad, huh? Yeah, those are not bad. Yeah. So today I want to talk about sales. So you've tried to start up some businesses before. You like selling? You hate it, right?
I hate it.
Still? Even though we talk about it sometimes,
I still hate it.
You just can't get your head around it, huh? You just don't want to do it.
It's too hard.
All right, so it's hard. It's so easy. It's the easiest thing in the world. So, all right. There's a book called Ready, Fire, Aim. Have you heard of that?
Yep.
Ready, Fire, Aim. It's
all out of order.
It's a pretty famous business book. I got some copies out here in the other part of the office if you want a copy. Pretty good book. I keep copies of it.
Is that how you're going to convince me to
I don't know. I'm not going to convince you, but the dude who wrote the book he was an executive and then a business owner, and then he became a pretty famous investor and writer. And the book is all about what he calls, I think, the 4 stages of entrepreneurial growth. Okay? First stage, 0 to $1 million in sales. Second stage, $1 to $10 million in sales. Third stage, $10 to $100 million in sales. Fourth stage, $100 to $500 million in sales.
Which one's the hardest?
To hear him tell it, he would say actually the real super hard is the 0 to $1 million.
That's what I would imagine.
Yeah, because he says like it's kind of like trying to push something heavy. Mm-hmm. Like once you get it going, it's kind of easy to keep it going.
Right.
But taking something from a standstill.
That's have you heard of a flywheel?
Yeah.
The flywheel.
Yeah,
concept.
Exactly. That's a flywheel concept. Exactly right. So once it's already moving, it's a lot easier to keep it moving.
Keep it going.
Yeah. So what he says is from that 0 to 1 million. So what this guy's name is, I believe his name is Mark. I think his name is Mark Ford. I want to say Mark Ford.
Mark Fedora Friday.
No, yeah, right, dude. You wish he was in your film. Anybody with the name Fedora in their name that's related to you.
Instantly.
Yeah, but so what he says is that when you're in that stage 1, 0 to $1 million in sales, you should be spending 80% of your time on sales. 80%. You really should not be doing much else other than trying to see if you can figure out how to sell your product consistently. And specifically what he says you're looking for is something called your optimal selling strategy. Your optimal selling strategy. Now, this doesn't mean you need to be the guy who sells, but you need to know how to sell your product. And so the optimal selling strategy, and from what I have seen in my experience, young people, if you got the dreams of having $1 million a year business, it takes like 3 years. This guy says it could take like 1 to 5 years, I think is what he says is on average. 1 to 5 years. So if you're starting a business and you're dreaming about having $1 million a year business, I mean, you're really talking about a 3 to 5 year commitment. You got to be ready to push. We're talking about like pushing that object that's not moving right now. Mm-hmm. You really got to start. You got to push on that thing for like 3 years.
The leverage.
To
comes
just,
back into it.
you push it. You push it. It's not moving. You just keep pushing. It's like, dang it, dude. Should I keep pushing it? How long have I been doing this? Like 4 months? It's like, gosh, I have more than 2.5 years to keep pushing on this thing. But that's what's going to take. It's going to take. And that also goes back to the benefit of starting when you're young. You got a great advantage, young people, because if you start when you're 19 or 15, 3 years from now, you'll just be 18. Like, you're still so young.
Mm-hmm.
How does 22 seem to you? Old or young?
Mm,
From a 19-year-old's perspective.
youngish.
Youngish? Do you feel like you'll still be a young man, or do you feel like you're starting to get old?
No.
All right.
I'll
So,
still be young.
all right. So, discovering the optimum selling strategy, it has to do with like a few things. All right. It's not just selling. Like the thing you don't like is selling.
Right.
But the optimum selling strategy is figuring out who your buyer is. Like, what are the characteristics of a buyer? Are they old? Are they young? Are they man? Are they woman? Are they rich? Are they poor? Are they into fashion? Are they a foodie? Are they a techie? Whatever it is, you gotta like understand like who you're even going after, what kind of marketing works, what kind of messaging, like what do you have to say, what kind of pictures do you have to show them, what kind of stuff gets them really attracted and interested in your product, your pricing, like that, and then also eventually, what do you have to say when you're face to face with a person or when you have an opportunity to get them on the phone? What do you have to say to them to get them to say yes and move forward with a purchase? It's the whole thing. So his thing, so the rule of thumb is he says you should be spending 80% of your time figuring out that stuff at the beginning of your business.
The who, the what, the where, the
Just
why,
like
and the who.
Getting your head fully around how do I get people to pay me for this thing?
Okay.
It's hard, huh?
Yeah.
You've been trying.
Yeah.
Before with the washing
It's
machine.
incredibly difficult.
Before with the washing machine business, you were able to make it happen like no problem.
Well, that was easier because I just posted on Craigslist.
You just post on Craigslist, but that requires you to drive places and install washing machines. Yeah, and I think, would you make like $40 a machine or $100 a machine?
$100 a
You
machine.
made $100 a machine. All right, but that means you always have to be buying and selling machines and stuff.
Yeah.
New business, your ideal thing is you want to try to set it, right? You do the work
Right.
once, and it keeps churning out money for you.
Yeah.
That's kind of the idea, right?
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's the goal. But that's people aren't as familiar with that. Like everybody knows about a washing machine. Not everybody really understands automation, like
True.
data
That's the hard
automation.
part is getting people to understand it.
Getting people to understand it, but that's why you probably, if you really are serious about wanting to make a business of it and not just have it be like a hobby or whatever, you probably spend like 2 years figuring out how to explain it to people in a way that like a person who doesn't know about it, they hear it and they go, okay, I see it.
Yeah, okay.
Like I kind of get it.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of work. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard, man. But so for whatever you Youth School for Business watchers, people, students, pupils,
Yes.
Pupils.
Pupils.
Why do you say it like that?
Pupils.
You're saying it like a really strange way.
Pupils, like
Yeah, I
like
know.
students.
I know what it is, but the way you're saying it, I know. I don't know why you say
it. How do you say it? Pupils?
pupils. I just shoot it straight out. I don't just do like a weird voice or anything like that. You're saying like pupils, like in a weird way. So it's kind of a creeped out way as well.
Okay.
So in the book, also in that same book, the guy talks about how a lot of people, when they first start their business, they want to get their business cards, they want to get their website built.
Right. The whole.
Yeah, they want to get their slogan worked out. They want to get an office. They want to buy a computer. They want to get their desk looking just such a certain way. Like none of that is right. Like before you could progress at all, you need to get your head around like how you're going to sell stuff.
The selling strategy.
And honestly, as you're working on your optimal selling strategy, you might figure out that you need to make some tweaks to your offering. Like your original conception of what you thought you were going to be able to sell just isn't going to fly, and you need to tweak some stuff up a little bit.
Change your wheel.
Change the flywheel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, change the pricing a little bit, or change the name. I mean, that's one too. Maybe just change the name of the thing, and it starts working better.
Everyone's like, yeah, I'll buy that.
Because you've heard of a fly swatter?
Right.
What if that was called like a fly extermination device? Fly swatter is a lot more catchy, dude. A lot of people don't know that's the original name for the fly swatter.
Extermination device?
Fly extermination device.
The YED.
Yeah, but they decided
the Fed.
They got rid of that and they just went with fly swatter. Anyways, that's the lesson for this segment. Zip it up and zip it out.